This is Innovation Connected, coming to you from the World Economic Forum in Davos, a podcast by Tenity.
My name is Max Planck. I'm a venture partner of Tenity, and I would like to welcome my esteemed guest, Lukas. Welcome.
Welcome, thank you. Happy to be here.
Yeah, thank you for coming. Maybe you can walk us quickly through your career, what you did in the past and what is your focus now?
Okay, well, my name is Lukas. I'm originally from the Netherlands, living in Switzerland for the last 20 years. And my original profession is trader. So I was an investment banker at ABN AMRO Bank for about 17 years. Then moved on to Liechtensteinische Landesbank, very, very different animal. After 3 years, I joined a startup, Sentify, in big data. And then we had a 7-year 24/7 journey on the startup level, where I learned, I guess, the most. And 5 years ago, I then joined back the financial market and became CEO of the BX Swiss exchange, Bern exchange, Berner Börse, something which is not always known. You know that Big Swiss is Berner Börse. Sometimes I'm in a crowd and I ask how many people have heard of BX Swiss. 2 hands, and then you ask how many people heard of Berner Börse, and every hand's are raised. But we are the same company.
Yeah.
So finally, I am now the last 5 years at BX Swiss Exchange, which is part of Börse Stuttgart Group, which is a very innovative exchange group in Europe. And we have 3 exchanges, one in Sweden, one in Germany, and one in Switzerland. That's what we do. We operate infrastructure for capital markets.
And so your office is in Bern?
That's a trick question, isn't it? Max, it's in Zurich. It's in Zurich, but we do have still the address in Bern. Why? It's a 140-year-old exchange, so it's a huge history, but we are operated much more in a startup-like way. So, and I guess before my time, they moved the offices basically to Zurich. I guess closer to Stuttgart, maybe, and also maybe it's more of a financial center. Maybe you never know. But I like both cities, and I like actually to be also in Bern occasionally because FINMA, Postbank, Postfinanz, Berner Kantonalbank. There's a lot of financial institutes also in Bern.
Can you say something about the history of exchanges in Switzerland? Because I guess
there was a time apparently we had 7 exchanges, and they were swallowed into basically 6 exchange, the bigger exchange in Switzerland, where the blue chips are traded, and then 1 exchange stayed. That was the Bern exchange, and that was basically sold to Börse Stuttgart Group, and I guess also the shareholders at the time, also the same type of banks as the shareholders are of SIX, wanted to create a competitive playing field, which in my view is necessary. So I don't think that there is a necessity for 100,000 exchanges, but there's good that there are a few and they're competing with each other. But at the same end, we both, as fully regulated, similar regulated institutes in Switzerland, we have one big task, and that is creating a transparent capital markets, a playing field for everybody to grow and to nurture. So,
okay.
2 left, me with BX Swiss Exchange and SIX Exchange.
Okay, but it's a bit of a size difference, right?
A little bit, yes. But look, size doesn't matter, as they say.
Yes.
It's all about character and personality.
Absolutely, that's why you're here.
And I think BX Swiss Exchange has a huge character. It's a great team of 25 people. And we're not only like, say, a traditional exchange for focused retail markets with innovative partners like Neon and Hippie Lensburg and others, Incor, etc. But also we are building at the moment, or finished building, a token exchange. And in order to do so, you have to, get trust from the mother company. And of course, why did we do it in Switzerland? Because the DLT law was put in place 2 years ago, and we are the first one, hopefully, that is going to be getting the DLT trading license, trading and settlement. Yeah. And it's a very innovative infrastructure because the future will be anyway tokenized, in my view, and to have a secondary marketplace to trade those tokens. And of course, the big changer, Max, is the settlement. You know, because we are building the settlement infrastructure on the public blockchain. We've built it. And basically, you settle peer-to-peer, so bank to bank. You still trade on the central exchange, but you have a decentral settlement, which takes one party out of the equation. Like, say, Clearstream, SES, Euroclear. We're taking them basically out of the equation, and we settle directly in Swiss francs.
Wow. Okay. When do you think you can start that?
Well, we have already started. We've built it. We're ready, and I think we have little final steps to take. It's the FINMA license that has to be given, and of course we have lots of conversations with FINMA, with our lawyers preparing the license, etc. But I think we're pretty close.
Okay. Who are your customers at the exchange? Your main customers? Big
Swiss. I guess there are two answers to that. In the end, we're all clients of stock exchanges because we buy and sell stocks, ETFs, bonds, etc., which are traded on the exchange. But our direct clients are the banks and the brokers. And we are particularly focused on neobank, on modern brokers, banks with less legacy, I guess, and which are a little bit quicker and modern. And to hook them up and provide a transparent market in a wide range of products, which are completely focused in the end on retail. So you and me, retail, we want to build a portfolio, start investing. What products do you look for? You look for maybe bonds, gold, ETF, structured products, crypto, ETP, etc. You can get all those products at our exchange. So not only Swiss stocks and bonds, you get everything. That's the difference between us and SIX.
Okay. So I need to go to one of the more innovative banks to have that in the portfolio because they work with you.
Actually, you can go to both. ZKB, Swissquote, they're all members at our exchange.
Yes.
But also Julius Baer and Hippie Lensberg with Neon behind. Yeah. So obviously, so we have around 10, 11 traditional and modern banks being a member. But I'm saying my aim is for, like, say, neobanks, like, for example, Neon, because they actually democratizing, how you say that word?
I think our audience
you know what I mean. And basically making it more transparent and cheaper to start investing. Because that's our main goal as an exchange. We want everybody to start investing and not gambling, investing. That means cost averaging investing. You have to start early. And, it's the same. Whatever you buy it on a cost averaging basis. You start, accumulating. That's how investment works. And, the financial literacy is a big issue. So we have our own BX TV. We have a TV. So we interview people, issuers. We interview index providers, etc., to provide this transparency. So it's a lot of fun to work at BX Swiss.
Wow, yeah. You also mentioned issuer now. That's probably the other part of your customers.
The issuers are the other part of our customers. Thank you, Max. They are actually, there is the bigger issuers of ETFs like BlackRock, UBS, DWS, etc. They are clients of ours. They issue their products. They list them on the exchange. And basically, you can buy them as a retail investor over your bank. Yeah. That's how it works. But you also have issuers in structured products. Myself, I'm a structured products veteran. I've been building the products for years, and still am totally convinced that there is a very, very, decent amount of good structured products, which are transparent and easy to use, where you can get little leverage, or you can take leverage to hedge your portfolio. All those products you can find on our exchange.
Okay. And do you have also small issuer? I mean, you spoke about digital assets before.
Of course. Maybe you can. Like small issuers, in the end, it's all about adhering to regulation. So how is your setup? There are smaller ETP, exchange-traded product issuers in sort of crypto products. For people that don't want to hold the assets in a digital wallet, they can basically buy those products and invest in those products over the exchange via the ETP or ETF. And smaller issuers also in terms of SMEs. Switzerland has... Do you know how many listed companies we have in Switzerland?
No.
Guess?
100?
No, 300. We have 300 listed companies only. Compared to Sweden, they have multiples of that. And there's much more interest in, for example, in Swedish investors to invest in their own companies. I think there are a lot of Swiss people and Swiss inhabitants in Switzerland that want to invest in Swiss companies, Swiss SMEs.
Yes.
And I think it's a shame that there are not more publicly available companies, Wachstumsfirmen, growth companies to invest in. And I think the tokenization will change that. When we start with our token exchange, it will be a little bit more easy to go from a digital, like there are a lot of SMEs which are already digital. So the step from digital infrastructure to being tokenized and making a listing on an exchange, our exchange, BX Digital, is I think an easier step. So hopefully there will be more people able to list their companies on the exchange.
Why do you think it's easier?
Well, not easier. It's going to be like if, for example, companies like platforms like Daura or Actionariat, these companies already have been tokenized. Then it's a little step to take a token to publicly listed version of it, and then create a secondary market.
Sure.
That's my point.
Okay. I mean, secondary market is already existing to a certain extent on these platforms. I mean, yeah, I agree with you. On the other side, I mean, there's also the problem that SMEs maybe don't want to disclose their financials. So I think it's you say the investor would like to buy, but the SME maybe is a bit reluctant.
Well, there's always a other side to it. So in my view, we're getting into a much more transparent society, and I guess companies that don't want to share, they can stay private.
Yeah, sure.
It's a very simple choice, but in the end, it's the same like. In Europe, there's the problem is that we have too many laws in different countries. There's no harmonization. There's no European capital markets. There's no capital markets union. They should have the United States of Europe. That would be good because then you have one big marketplace with actually more inhabitants than the US, and then you have yourself a market where with standardization, regulation, for everybody the same rules, you could have a much better marketplace. The euro was a great idea, but now you have to take it to the next notch and create a capital union where we as an exchange can play a role in providing secondary markets, liquidity, access to capital, protection of the investor, etc., etc. So, yeah.
Does it play a positive role then that you have a, let's say, German mother company? I mean, that you can use that you work together?
Of course. It's very important. Like in Switzerland, we applied for the DLT trading and settlement license. Now we're also applying for the TSS license in Germany. It's the trading and settlement under the DLT pilot regime. So it's basically a copy-paste of what we have in Switzerland over the last 2 years in place. Now that's going to be going live in Europe, and multiple platforms applying for this TSS license. And then you have yourself a European market.
Okay. Wow.
So, and Beurs Stuttgart Group also has a very, very large crypto business. We are the 6th largest stock exchange group in Europe.
Wow.
Not many people know that.
I didn't know it before I met you, to be honest.
Yeah, we're a little bit of a silent monster there. No,
yeah,
but
maybe we can say something about your sizes, because it's I mean, how many users you have. I think it's quite an impressive figure.
Look, Bison, the trading app for crypto in Germany has over 500,000, even almost 1 million registered users.
Yes.
And it's the as the exchange is fully regulated, we provide secure access to crypto, which is great, and the Bison app is very successful, and also of course with MiCA in place, we are MiCA compliant, by the way, one of the first in Europe, and our crypto business is an important part of the Beurs Stuttgart Group. I think actually we are the stock exchange group in Europe with the largest crypto business.
Yeah, that's
so
really
we have been thinking blockchain very, very long time already, and I see the benefits of using this infrastructure, the blockchain, to really bridge between the legacy economy and the new economy. It will not change overnight.
Yeah.
So you have to bring them to the next stage, and that's what we're doing. We as a fully regulated exchange group, we help regulated entities like banks to cross that bridge and provide access to crypto, digital assets, but also traditional assets.
Don't you get more competition now with MiCA? I mean, there's a lot of, let's say, global exchanges applying for licenses.
In my view, and I've been, maybe my startup business, which I was doing for 7 years, has learned me that competition is great.
True.
I feel that we have a bit of a regulatory benefit, because there's a lot of new companies now coming, like startups, and they maybe have the license in the end, but to stay compliant and to use the existing infrastructure, because we have like over 50 trading members, A new company doesn't start with that. So we have a bit of a benefit.
Yes.
As a traditional exchange, being modern and lean and mean, is that you can actually be more competitive than maybe others.
Yeah.
And we don't have the legacy of owning some sort of like a CSD. So we are an attacker. We are a challenger. We are a challenger exchange. We can build infrastructure which solves problems and not protect our business. We're not afraid to lose something. I think that's a big change.
That's definitely a big change and not normal.
And it's nice to work at a company where you don't have to seek for funding every day. My 7 years of Centify, in the end, we raised 30 million over a period of 7 years. And my time in the end, the last 3 years of my startup period was looking for funding. And that's a waste of time. That's the actual problem in Europe anyway, or in Switzerland.
Yes.
Lack of venture capital.
Yes.
And but that's a wrong attitude, Max. Yeah. Because when you walk around here in Davos, in German, the German language to describe venture capital, the word is Riskkapitaal.
Yeah.
And in America, it's venture capital.
Yeah.
I prefer to invest in ventures than in risk.
Yes.
So it's also the language thing.
Yeah, it's an interesting point. Yeah. What else are your takeaways from Davos here? I mean, you spent now 3 days, I guess, here.
I've been here since Monday evening, and we did some cool stuff. We invited, we cooked for myself and Matthias Völker, the group CEO of Beurs Stuttgart. We invited 10 CEOs of our partner CEOs and cooked for them.
Wow!
So we did a little private event at an apartment from a friend of mine in Davos. So that was fun. And then we had lots of breakfasts, lots of meetings, little snippets. You get little snippets of content.
Yes.
And it strikes me that there is like last year it was like you had this idealism versus capitalism, where idealism was almost like chanceless, and now it's a little bit more leverage. There's still idealism meets capitalism, but it seems to be a little bit more balanced. Although it's not a real fair comparison, because you notice that the drive and the interest of big companies on AI, on technology, on etc. And at the other end you have things like CSRD, taxonomies, regulation, over-regulation. Europe is still a very difficult place to do business in.
Absolutely.
Compared to the US or compared to other places. And we can only learn from that and try and change that.
Yeah, some other podcast speakers said that there's maybe too often talked about European Union regulation in all fields, not only finance. So as said before, I offer myself to help you cooking next year, because I like cooking myself.
Well, here you are invited to cook with me, so that's nice.
Thank you very much. And I wish you a very good time on the last day, and thank you for being here, and see you hopefully very soon in Zurich.
Thanks for inviting me, Max.
Thank you. Bye-bye.